All right, thanks for joining everybody. I'm Matt with TREIN Management. I have Morgan and Rachel with Rhombus Systems. We want to know, why should we be using the Rhombus system to protect our schools, to protect our businesses, and just protect our people. So with that, let you guys introduce yourselves and then we'll jump in.
Hey, I'm Morgan Erickson. I run our channel account team on the East Coast and some of our distribution relationships. Been at Rhombus now for 4 years and the security industry for almost 15. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what about you, Rachel?
Rachel Metz, account executive here for Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, working with partners, customers like Matt. Oversee the full sales cycle.
Great.
Been at Rhombus for over 2 years.
Great. And now I will say this, we are using some Rhombus here at our location. Our access control that we're using is Rhombus. We have some Rhombus cameras up as well. Tell us a little bit about, tell the people watching, why should we be using the Rhombus system? You guys have a wide spread in the physical security space. So access control, you do some alarm, obviously the camera systems. Tell us a little bit about why for each.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes Rhombus really powerful is that we are, a no-NVR direct-to-cloud product, and we can eliminate a lot of headaches there. There's a lot of camera manufacturers out there. It's very saturated. And so I always like to say, if you just want something to record and send you alerts if a human's there, maybe not the best fit, but we're the fit for someone that's having, maybe they have limited IT resources and they have multiple locations around the country or the state or whatnot, or they just want something that's really simple and easy to use but have enterprise features. Mm-hmm. That's what we do really well. We make it really simple and beautiful. I always joke, someone probably has a Google or Nest camera at home. They never had someone sit down and show them how to use it. Right? And that's what we're trying to make, but on an enterprise grade product. So a product that can manage whether you have 2 sites or 1,000 sites, enterprise features in an easy to use package with a completely open API, so you can bring in third-party stuff.
You made a comment there that I thought was interesting, and it's coming from our side of this business, right? We're an integrator. We have the ability to partner with you guys and sell the product, and then we have the ability to install it and help make sure that the client is taken care of and make sure that they've learned how to use the system and get the training and get the support that they need. So when we come at this and we look at this, that we also offer other brands. Mm-hmm. You said to make sure it's a good fit for the client. So that tells me maybe Rhombus is a great fit for certain industries or a certain type of client, but maybe it's not a good fit for certain other clients. So let's dive into that just a little bit. If you are X client, so in this industry or this type of business, what's a really good fit for the Rhombus system?
Yeah, we've done really well in schools. We're in pretty much every K through 12 in the state of Mississippi. And one of the things that we've done really well is a lot of schools are resource strapped. And oftentimes they might have a SRO officer, they might have an IT director. That IT director is running from the high school to the middle school to the elementary school. Maybe he has multiple other schools in the building. He doesn't have time to sit there in front of an NVR and scroll through footage. And he doesn't have time to manage that NVR and make sure that it's updated with firmware and whatnot. And then the other situation, right, with schools is you might have an SRO officer who's just sitting in front of the cameras all day looking for something that's happening. When you actually meet with SRO officers, that's not their job, right? And so we're enabling them to get away from that dry, boring, staring at a camera screen to actually engaging with the students, building relationships with the community, being kind of like that early interventionist, right, that's in the school. So schools are one example. But for a business owner where we do really well in the, small, mid-sized business, right, he might not have an IT department, right? And he might be at home at 7 p.m. and be like, oh gosh, I got to look up that event that happened. And he doesn't want to spend time, or maybe he has to drive across the town to go to the location where that event happened. And then he's spending hours away from his family or her family, to find that incident and whatnot. So that's kind of the thing that we really kind of pride ourselves with is being able to do that. And really the nice thing about Rhombus that a lot of people forget is the system gets better over time. So we're constantly coming out with updates. And I like to give like the Tesla analogy, because if you've ever been in a Tesla, you just wake up in the morning and a little pop-up box is like, hey, we added zoom to your car, or we added a radar to the map, right? So you can see weather patterns. And that's kind of the experience that you get with Rhombus. So new things are always coming, so you're not stuck with an old NVR that can't learn a new trick.
That's a good point. You talk about the no-NVR piece of that a lot. You also mentioned direct to the cloud. Is it completely to the cloud? What happens if the network goes down? Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit, because that's something else maybe somebody watching is going to need to say, hey, what happens in this case? Because last thing somebody wants is if the network goes down, if it's plugged directly into the NVR, we know that it's still recording. But what about with the Rhombus system? There's no NVR. So is it still recording? Because it's not going to go directly to the cloud if the network's not on.
Yeah, that's correct. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, you can. Because I feel like...
Yeah. So first of all, if your network goes down, I always recommend having either a dual line going into your building or doing a cellular connection, and whatnot. They make a variety of rack-mounted ones and things that you can plug into your network in case your main internet source goes down, or like a satellite connection with Starlink, for example. But in the event your internet goes down, as long as you're on the local network, with our product, you can still see live video and whatnot on our device, our app, for example. But our camera video is primarily stored on the device itself. We have an encrypted proprietary SD card in there. And our cameras record 24/7, 365. So they're not motion or event-based, recording. They're always going to record whether an AI caught something or not. Right, you're always going to be able to hover over the video screen and see what happened and whatnot. So you can always access our cameras whether you have internet or not, but you do need to be on site if you lose internet.
That's a great point. We have a few other Rhombus cameras that are in the office right now that are not actually plugged in. Could you grab one of those for me? They're in my office. They're there on the table. Grab one of the domes. So in this camera. This is open too. So this is the R200.
Yep.
So this is a 5 megapixel camera with 20 days of storage on it on the standard. So has 20 days of storage on this. This is what I wanted to get to. The SD card pops out, and we have 20 days of storage built into this SD card. So if you're wondering what happens when the network goes down, there's no need for the NVR. The NVR is actually built into this camera. So I think that is absolutely fantastic, and just a really good way of making sure that it's always recording, right? Yeah. So that's great. Now let's move into the access control system. Obviously, if you have your own security surveillance cameras and then you have the access control, surely they're going to work together. But tell us a little bit about how that works and why that's important.
Yeah, I think really going back to pain points of who's ever managing these systems, right? Yeah. They're having to go to one screen to manage their users, and then they have to go to another screen to manage their badges and their credentials. So really having it in one single pane of glass is important.
Okay.
The beautiful thing about Rhombus is we do integrate with other access control brands, as well.
So what are some of those other brands that you integrate with, just in case somebody says, I don't want to change out the access control. Maybe we put this in last year, or maybe it's been here for a long time and it would be a pain to go and change everything out. So
Brivo, Kisi, Openpath, which is now called Alta, Genea, which is a really cool product as well. I think they mentioned PDK.
Okay, that's a great one, because here in Tennessee there is a lot of PDK users, and so that's a really good suggestion or point to bring out there.
And they're really strong in self-storage. We've done really strong in the self-storage space too, so it's been a really popular integration.
It is pretty common too.
Great.
Like most people have access control.
And then you can, and I'm asking, as far as, can you manage the door from the actual camera feed as well, if you have the, and is there a way to connect them?
Yeah, so managing the door, you can see who's badging in, have video footage of getting alerts when people badge in. You can verify that the person coming in through the door is the person that actually owns that credential. So maybe, Rico took your badge, came into the office, right? That's a security issue, right? If he's grabbing someone's badges and using that, maybe he lost his and just been too lazy to go to the front office to get a new one. But you want to know that. So you can do that, and you can remotely unlock the doors too from our app or from a browser base. If you see someone at your door, you can click on the little camera, unlock the door, and get them in. That's
great. I know we were just kind of given, we've got just a few more minutes, but I want to maybe extend that just a little bit more because we're not touching on a couple of the other pieces. One of the things that I wanted to ask about next to roll into is the actual alarm. And then you guys are also doing your own version of the panic button. So let's talk about both of those because the alarm is unique because there's not a keypad hanging on the wall. So let's talk about that. How does that work? And what are walk us through the steps if there's an event that does happen.
Yeah, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so essentially alarm monitoring, you can preset a schedule in your Rhombus console like, okay, we want the alarm monitoring to kick on at 7 p.m. And essentially if there's any human movement or activity outside, that is going to get pushed to our third-party verification team that's going to verify if there's a threat to person or property. And I believe recently, the last thing was that they found and they were able to make an arrest for like an actual break-in within 10 minutes. So
that's great.
And it does, like the whole point of that is to reduce false alerts because with like an ADT or typical home system, like if you have a false alarm, like your price will go up, like you'll get charged, and it's just like not ideal, and just really works really well.
Yeah. Now that brings me to another question because I've gotten this question in the past when we've talked about this. So say you have it set from it turns off at 7 o'clock in the morning, it comes back on at 5:30. What if they still have people working overtime? They're there at 6 o'clock. They're there at 6:30. Yeah. How do we make sure that that's not something that gets triggered and the police show up?
Yeah, so one, the person can change the schedule live in real time. So they can change that schedule. They can arm and disarm it from a device, from a browser, and so they can set that custom schedule like right then and there. They can also install like an iPad and put it in kiosk mode and use that as a keypad and assign pins to people.
Okay. So essentially we can create a keypad then from using an iPad. Okay. Yeah.
And the other neat thing too is like you can program it to when someone badges in first thing in the morning, the system's disarmed. Okay. So like there's no need to even remember a pin pad. If you're a Rhombus employee and you're coming in, you tap your badge or scan your phone on it. It can deactivate the system, right?
What happens if somebody scans in, but maybe it's 7:45 and they don't actually have credentials to get in until 8 o'clock? What happens then?
Yeah, well, their door's not good on.
Yeah.
Is that going to trigger the alarm?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Unless they force open the door.
Unless they kick the door down.
We do have that as a setup that you can run through our access control as forced open.
Okay.
So, unless they finagle a way in, or maybe it's a door that someone left an old key hanging around and they unlock it that way. Okay. It's not going to go off.
And now let's finish off with talking about the panic button side of things. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we make a Bluetooth battery-powered button called the B10. Okay. It's not purely a panic button, but you can pair that with our alarm monitoring service that we offer. And it's wireless, so you can stick it under a table, you can put it on the wall. You can program different types of presses. So maybe you want like a single press to unlock a door, or maybe you want a double press or a hold to like call the police and set an alert. You can have that there.
So this is a multi-purpose button. You don't have to just get it for a panic button. It's all in the configuration.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of cool use cases we've seen people use it for, and due to our open API, we've had people take the button and do some pretty wild things with it.
Can you share some of that?
I've heard stories of someone ordering a sandwich.
And you could order a pizza, like every time I hit this Domino's pizza.
Yeah, kind of like the old Amazon buttons that they put in the drawers where you could hit it and it'd ship you Tide packets or whatever.
So we should talk to the White House because then they could press the button and get ice cream from that, right?
Yeah,
so, okay.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I love ice cream.
Okay, that's great. Is there anything else that you guys would like to share about why Rhombus?
Yeah, I think the thing that's beautiful about Rhombus, and the thing that I am excited to be here for, is the open API and just the speed of development that happens with Rhombus. And because we have the open API, like, if you're installing access control drop, it's not a full rip and replace, right? It's, hey, you can keep these old Wiegand readers if you really want to. You can keep, some of your RS-45, readers that you might have in place. You don't have to rip out the whole thing. And it's a product that just, since I've been here for 4 years, just how much better it's getting at a rapid pace, and the cool stuff that we're doing is neat. And lastly, if you haven't seen our Insights piece that we've put out there, we're moving away from a camera just being a safety device or a security device to being like a business optimization piece. So you want to know how many parking spaces you have open at any given point, or how much time people are using at your EV chargers, or, hey, I want to see a report of how many times people are on their cell phone in my office, right? With Rhombus, the ability to, with the open API, to bring in LLMs, whether it's Meta, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, you can bring those in and create custom events.
That's great.
And custom reports that just auto send to you, so you can know how your business is running. Whether, hey, how many people are in a line at my, burger joint that I have in Nashville compared to the one I have in Memphis. You can look side by side at that and see different store performances and things that maybe matter to you. So it's not just a safety device now, it's a business optimization piece.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Morgan, Rachel, thanks for meeting with us. Mm-hmm. Thanks for doing this with us. I know this was pretty last minute, but it was last minute for us too. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in learning more about the Rhombus system and how TREIN Management can help you integrate this with your current system, or integrate this in your current ecosystem and platform and location, school district, whatever it is, click the link down below. Thanks.